Is it considered a whip if you've caked the yarn but you haven't done anything else? This is just on my list, so I'm going to talk about it. Hey y'all. I am back with another Yarn Everywhere podcast, and I can't wait to share with you all of my yarn adventures. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Nicky Avery. I am the creative behind Avery Lane Creations and ALC Yarns. Let's start with finished objects. I only have one. This is a pretty rare occurrence. I usually have, I don't know, at least two, if not more. The only finished object I have are these DK vanilla socks with the colorway Neon-politan. I absolutely love how this bright green right here pooled. You can just kind of follow it around. I think it is just too cute. I probably should have started on this side. You can just kind of see how it goes around. So these are for a very dear friend of mine, and I'm so glad that I am finally podcasting. Now I can get these in the mail to her. Oh my, at all of the whips that I have. I kind of don't even know where to start. I feel like I'm going to be a little chatty about a few of these, so I think I'm going to start out with my newest whip. There's not much to say about this one. It is another vanilla sock on DK weight. I am just obsessed with DK weight socks right now because they're quick. I prefer to wear them like around my house, into bed. Although I love the feel of the sock weight socks, and I prefer those like if I'm going to wear them in my tennis shoes. Right now, I am just loving DK weight, so I'm just going to just ride this wave. Every time I think I have it figured out how I'm going to stripe these socks, I change my mind. So these are some of my Valentine's Day colorways that I just could not part with. These right here are two 50-gram skeins, and then this is a 20-gram. This is so bright pink that I don't feel like it's going to show up properly on here, but this is Pink and Precious. This is Speckled Pink, and this is Raspberry Delight. So originally, I was going to start out with this, then I was going to go to this color and stripe in that color. But I think I want to switch it and have that darker one break up these two. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I also have another idea. I am doing some yarn inventory today, and I'm breaking up some of the sets that I created because I really wanted to make some sock sets. And I figured while I was doing some inventory, I would claim one of these Pretty in Pink mini sets on DK Squish for me. I really have this idea in my head of striped socks, and I just don't think these three colors are going to be enough stripes for me. So I'm kind of thinking that I may just use this with that and just stripe that way. And maybe I'll have enough left to make another set of socks with this. If not, I can make a set of socks with this. I'm all over the place, and I really think this is why I haven't made it past the cuff, because I'm like, I don't know what I want to do from here. Let's just set it aside. Maybe I need to like go 4th grade here and get out some colored pencils and visually work up the colors. I think that might help me. Now the trick would be to actually find my colored pencils. Okay, I'm moving on. This is the first whip, and I'm super chatty, so buckle up. I really need to upgrade my project bag because this is not working. These are really in no order. I'm just kind of grabbing from my desk so I can get it cleared. This is a design idea that I had, and it's not going well. This is going to be a cowl, and it starts from the top down. My idea is to have this kind of be a sampler. Each section is going to be a different set of stitch combinations. And I'm just not loving it. And I think right now the problem is these two sets right here, they're kind of tight and there's just not drape. It's like almost like a collar. I don't know. I feel stiff and I just don't like the way that it feels. I do love the texture of these stitch combinations. So I think I'm just going to have to do some maneuvering and go up a hook size and just play around with it a little bit more. But what I'm really trying to create here is something that you can make with scrap yarn, 20-gram minis, or you can just make it all in one color. However you want to make it, I really wanted to have some kind of project for crocheters if you buy an advent calendar or if you have some scraps laying around. I just don't feel like there are enough options for crocheters when it comes to mini skein projects. Another goal with this is I would like this to be easily modified to where you could make this with any yarn weight. Just grab a coordinating hook size and you can make it up with DK weight, sock weight, or worsted weight. So there's a lot that I want to accomplish with this pattern, and I think it's just going to take me a while to find my groove, and I'm kind of being picky. So this is the idea. I think the stitch combinations are really pretty. I just think they need some rearranging, and I've only made it through 3 of the stitch combinations. So part of me is kind of thinking I may keep going just to get all of the stitch combinations out for me to see, and then maybe I can do some juggling. So that's where I'm at here. I have no idea what I want to call it right now. It's like sampler cowl. My other idea was I'm kind of taking this from the Joyful Journey shawl that I was designing, and I just think this one is going to be a lot quicker of a design than the big shawl that I had in mind. Anyways, I'm a little all over the place, but I wanted to talk it out. Hi. Someone is feeling very neglected right now. You want to say hi? Look, right here, Sammy. Say hi. Oh, he is getting so big. Like, I don't have room in my lap anymore for him. I know. What do you have on your face, sir? Okay. We went for a walk earlier, and I was hoping that he would take a nap, but I don't think it was a long enough walk. Okay. Say bye. Say bye. Mwah. By the way, if you're new here, that is my puppy, Samson. He is a 7-month-old Frenchie, and he is a lot. He's got a very big personality on him. Next up is my Musselburgh hat. I absolutely love this pattern. This will be my 3rd Musselburgh hat, but my first one with sock weight yarn. This is the colorway Sugar Rush, and it is one of those colorways that I just had to keep, and it has been in my stash for a while. Was waiting on the perfect project. Finally, I'm like, I want a Musselburgh hat, and I'm doing this a little bit different, and I cannot take credit for this idea. This is something I saw, what is her name? Nitty Natty on her podcast for one of the Musselburghs that she made. And what she did is in the middle section, she did 1x1 ribbing. And this is going to be the part that is the brim of the hat. So when you fold it up, you have this really nice brim that I feel like is really going to help with the fit of the hat. My one complaint about my Musselburgh hat that I have now is that the more that I wear it, the more that it kind of stretches out and gets this like bowl shape. Part of the reason is I did not want to flip it up. I just wanted more of a like beanie, fitted beanie style. So that could be part of the problem. But I just think that this is going to be wonderful for it just kind of staying on my head. I don't know. I'm really enjoying this pattern. And this is where I was at last podcast. It has been so hard not to move this, but I'm like, no, I have it there for a reason. Leave it alone. So this is where I was at last podcast, and this is where I'm at now. I think this is probably a little over 3 inches. Each section is going to be about 6 inches. So from the end of the decrease here to here is about 6 inches. And then this is going to be 6 inches. And then I'm going to repeat this for the other side. This is what I have so far for my Musselburgh hat. This is one of those projects kind of like socks. I feel like I just want one of these going all the time because I love wearing hats when it's cold. And I also think it makes a great gift. I've made a little bit of progress on my Juniper cowl. I finally decided what I wanted to do. If you haven't noticed a pattern here, I have a tendency to overthink things. And when I'm stuck in indecision, I'm stuck. I just don't do anything. I finally made the decision that I wasn't going to box myself in and stick with my original idea of just using the scrappy Advent yarn. I'm so tickled with how the color flow is going that I felt like if I were to stick with my original plan of just using yarn from that Advent, that all of this was just not going to continue. Like the next part of the cowl was just going to kind of be a hot mess, and I really didn't want that. I don't mind the scrappy look, but this part just doesn't look scrappy, so I really just wanted a nice flow. So I went with that color, which is still part of the scrappy Advent. And I got to looking at the other ones that I picked out, and I don't know if I picked out enough yarn. I think I was picking out yarn, and I didn't have the pattern, and I didn't think to check the pattern. So this is what I have right now, but I think I'm gonna have to add more yarn. I'm going to, let me see if I can do this all one-handed. Yes, I've got this. This is how I'm gonna lay out the colors. So I've got this really pretty wine color here. And then I found this one in my row 1 minis. And I think that is gonna be a really nice color to pair up with that. Then I have this color. There's just a little bit, I think this color is going to pull out some of the pink tones in this. And then I have this color here, and it has just a few pops of pink. And then I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with maybe another gray, or I'm not sure. I may go with like a purple or a blue. I'm not really sure after this. I don't know. I don't know if I got in here and I'm just like, Nikki, just pick 3 and go from there. And then when you're ready, come back. You've got plenty of yarn to choose from, and then just pick 3 more. That's probably where my brain was at. So this is the Juniper cowl. This is like my 4th one. I love this pattern. Again, it's another one of those patterns that I could just make all the time. I really enjoy wearing it, and I just feel like I need one in every color so it can just match whatever I'm wearing. But then I find other patterns I like and I want to do the same thing with, so here we are. Goodness. When I do these podcasts, it makes me want to just like take an entire week and do nothing but work on these projects. It's almost like it motivates me to finish some of these projects. I get like excited about them again. Next up are these DK weight vanilla socks. I'm obsessed with vanilla socks. in this gorgeous colorway. This colorway is Canadian Sunset, and it was one of the colorways from my September Yarn Club. I am just so obsessed with this colorway. I love all of the colors in there. I love this so much that I dyed some more of this colorway yesterday. It was just a really small dye day. I did 2 batches of DK weight, so that's 8 DK weight. I did 4 worsted and 4 sock weight. Most of the DK weight is already spoken for. I very rarely repeat Yarn Club colorways, but I just couldn't say no or resist dyeing this again. So this is Canadian Sunset, and this is the first sock in the set. I really just haven't dedicated a whole lot of time to knitting socks. Is it considered a whip if you've caked the yarn but you haven't done anything else? This is just on my list, so I'm going to talk about it. Inside my yarn club, starting in January, we decided to do a crochet along. And we decided to do a few of the patterns from my Sassy collection. We started out with the Sassy Beanie, and then we went to the Sassy fingerless gloves. And we'll be starting a crochet along for the Sassy Cowl soon. I have 2 Sassy Cowl patterns. One of them is a triangle cowl and the other one is just a circular cowl. The circular cowl is the one that we're going to be doing. I finally decided on the yarn that I want to use for the Sassy Beanie, and then I had some kind of issue with my elbow, almost like a tennis elbow thing, and I have not been able to crochet. I kept picking up my crochet hook and crocheting. Then I would end up with really bad elbow pain later on in the day or the next day. So I finally was just like, okay, I'm gonna have to put my hook down for a while, and I am able to knit, but I have to get in a super weird position. So I can't really even knit very long. Dyeing yarn was also a challenge because I'm trying not to lift too much with this arm, and I'm right-handed. So I just feel so awkward using my left hand. Anyways, that's part of the reason why I have not started the Sassy Beanie and that I hardly have any crochet projects. The other thing keeping me from crocheting is another project that I'm going to show you soon. So this is the yarn that I have caked up for a beanie, and this is called Pink Dahlia. And then I had some of this black color, this black tonal. It's called, what is it called? Can't See Me. I have some of this left over from the Sassy fingerless gloves that I made for my little cousin. She came over yesterday, and when she was leaving, she loves to go for walks. I'm like, I'll drive you home. She's like, no, I want to walk. I enjoy it. And she gets her Sassy fingerless gloves out of her purse and puts them on, and it just made my day. I'm so glad that she is enjoying them. So this is my idea for Sassy Beanie. This is going to be the brim, and then this is going to be the body. All right, the project that has just consumed my life. When I'm at home and I'm in my chair, this is what I'm working on. And if you watched Vlogmas and the last podcast, you know that there's been a lot of drama with this pattern. It has been a challenge. I'm the problem, not the designer. I absolutely love it, and I am having a really hard time not starting another one. I've got it all tangled up. What a hot mess. I don't even think I told you what this is. This is the Find Your Fade Shawl by Andrea Mowry, and I've got a mess going on here. I'm pretty sure some of the yarn fell on the floor, and hopefully Samson won't get it. Okay, I'm gonna try to show you. Let's just work backwards here. Okay, this is where I'm at right now. I needed to use this yellow for yardage reasons. I'd already kind of like lined up all of the colors that I wanted to use, and I had a system going on, but I wasn't crazy about this bright yellow being in here. And I'll show you in a minute. You'll kind of see that I feel like it would have stuck out like a sore thumb. So I kind of got creative. And what I did is I just striped it in here. And then I went ahead with this beautiful purple and pink yarn. Now I'm having to get even more creative, and I'm using some of the scraps that I had left from earlier in the shawl and kind of changing the yarn every 2 rows because I only have enough of this color to do 1 more row, and I want this color to come right before I add in this color. So I'm just kind of getting creative until I can get to the point where I can do the last rows with this color and not run out. That's just kind of where I'm at. That's probably more information than what you wanted, but I guess I just needed to talk that out. This is what I have so far. I really am obsessed with how these colors are laid out. It took me so long to figure out how I wanted it. I just had them lined up on my counter, and I just kept like shuffling them, putting them in order and shuffling them, and I'm just so tickled with how it turned out. So here's what we have. So this is where I started. I don't even know. I can't see if you can kind of see. You can a little. So this is the Find Your Fade shawl that I'm obsessed with. It's just so squishy. I love the texture. I love the drape. And I am making myself finish this before I start another one. I really want to start another one with some of my Valentine yarn, and I will show you that next. I think I have like 20 more rows to go or something like that. My last whip, I think, is the oldest one that I have, and it is my granny stripe blanket. Okay, I just undid several of the stitches. That was fun. My oldest project that I have, at least that I'm claiming and that I can remember, is my scrappy granny stripe blanket. I absolutely love this. I pulled this out on Sunday and worked on it for a little while. I was kind of testing the waters with my elbow, and it's doing a lot better, so I should be back to my normal crocheting soon. So here is my scrappy granny stripe. I really need to lay this out on the floor and measure it because I think I'm past the halfway point now. I also, let me see. This is where I was at the last time that I talked about it on the podcast. I actually don't remember when that was. So I haven't really made very much progress because I have been distracted with other projects, and I decided that I was going to use this stitch marker. I've been hoarding this stitch marker that I got in my friend Cheryl's monthly yarn club Yarnable. I keep wanting to say Hypnotic Yarn because that's who she is, but her monthly subscription is Yarnable. I marked where I started for 2024. So my plan is to find the 2024 stitch marker that was in, I think, January's Yarnable. And I'm going to put that here, and then I'll just put this one down somewhere close to the beginning, but where it's not going to like be at the very beginning where it's going to get caught on something. And I just think that's going to be a really cool way to keep track of how long it's going to take me. I'm hoping to finish it this year because I already have other scrappy blankets that I want to start. So I am so tickled to finally use this stitch marker, and I'm also really tickled that I kept up with it for a whole entire year. I will post a link to my Ravelry project page in the description of this video, and it has all the details on my pattern for this. I did not want to have to chain a whole bunch of stitches, so I did, I'm pretty sure, a foundation single crochet stitch, and then I do not plan on putting a border on it, so I wanted a really nice straight edge, and I'm doing stacked double crochet stitches for that. All of those details are on my Ravelry project page in case you want to make one. That is a wrap for my finished object and my works in progress, at least the ones that I have worked on since the last podcast. Now let's dive into yarn news. The first step is admitting that you have a problem, right? So I kind of lost my mind a little bit. I think in the last podcast, I talked about my ideas for some Valentine colorways and that I literally woke up in the middle of the night and I had to come in my office and write down these ideas and sketch out my ideas because I couldn't sleep. My brain would not shut off. So normally when I dye yarn, my yarn club members get first dibs, and then I kind of take my pick, and then I'll announce to the public, hey, there's a shop update, come shop yarn. Well, I could not contain myself, and I'm about to show you why. I picked yarn before I let my yarn club members pick. Sorry, y'all. And I'm pretty sure you're going to see a theme here, and you'll know why. But I'm looking at all of it now and I'm feeling just a little bit guilty. So let me just show you. I don't have a favorite. At least I don't think I have a favorite. I think once you see, I bet there is a pattern here. So maybe you can help me figure out which one's my favorite. This is Love and Speckles. Okay, yes, I wanted to make sure this colorway is Love and Speckles, and oh my goodness, look at this. I played around with some of my favorite techniques with this colorway. I started out with the yarn bare, and then I speckled a bunch of colors. Then I poured over a really pretty pink color, as you can see. Then I let it set, and then I flipped it again, and I did more speckles in different colors. And then I poured over this really pretty purple here. I let that set, and then I flipped the yarn inside out. I guess that's the only way that I can describe it. Then I flipped the yarn inside out, and I speckled again with some of the colors that I had already speckled with. So there are lots of speckles in here, but I also wanted there to be a little bit of white, which is very hard for me. It's really hard for me to leave white on yarn. I knew that the white would make the speckles pop even more, and I am having the hardest time getting the colors to show true in this lighting. Maybe there we go. Anyways, obsessed with this. This one's called Love and Speckles, and this is on sock weight. I have it on all three of my bases, and it looks just a little different on each base, and it makes me even more obsessed with it. So, Love and Speckles. This one is Belong Together, and it's showing blue. At least it is on my end, but this is actually purple. I am obsessed with this one too. So pretty. And let me see, there's so much here. I'm in the middle of dyeing all of the Valentine yarn. I also dyed some one-of-a-kind colorways. I took some yarn out of my shop that I was just kind of sick of looking at, and I over-dyed it, and those end up being some of my favorites, and they're just one-of-a-kinds that I can't repeat. And I selfishly kept these two, and I'm trying really hard not to keep the others that are in the shop. I think there was only one DK weight, 3 sock weight. I think 3 sock weight and a worsted weight. And I kept one of the sock weights. Look at that. Oh, look at those speckles. And I kept the only DK weight. I am so sorry, but I need a pair of socks with these. You just don't understand. I have to have a pair of socks with this color. I cannot wait to see it worked up. And I named this colorway Swoon Worthy because it's just gorgeous. Here's another one of a kind that I'm obsessed with. I don't remember what I named this one, but I think there might be another one in the shop. Not really sure. Hopefully I'll remember when I give you peeks of what is in the shop. I'll remember to look and see what I named this one. Oh, you know what? I know what I named this one now, and I crack myself up. You may not think I'm funny, but I think I'm funny. So I was at the end of I want to say almost a 14-hour day. I was on a time crunch, and we had a winter storm last month that put me behind. Anyways, the hardest part of my job is naming the colorways. And I was stuck. I'm like, I don't know what to name this. One, it's one of a kind, so I don't want to use any really good names because I'm never going to repeat it. So I can't use that name again. So I'm going back and forth, and then I decided, I think there were only 2 of these, maybe 3. And I'm like, I can't let go of this. I have to keep at least one of these because it'll haunt me. Then that scene in Titanic where he or she, I don't remember which one said it, one of the two. Okay, let me just tell you, that movie, they could have both fit on that door or whatever it was they were floating on. It's been so long since I've watched it that I don't remember all the, the details. But it just bothered me. I was like, they could have both fit up there. I'd have been like, get up here. We'll just hold on to each other and we'll figure it out. But you're not going to freeze to death. Okay. Sorry. Very passionate about that, I guess. Anyways, so I named this one Never Let Go because that's how bad I was like, I've got to keep at least one of these. So this one is Never Let Go. I'm a mess. I know. I think this would be really pretty together. But again, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Probably socks. Ugh, I've got a problem. Those are some of the ones that I kept. And then I kept a set of Pretty in Pink tonals on worsted weight. There are 5 different tonal pinks in the Pretty in Pink sets. And there are sets of 5 on all 3 of my bases. There's worsted, DK, and sock weight. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I actually thought about doing some type of colorwork beanie with it or a cowl. I'm obsessed with cowls and beanies, but I kept a set. Not really sure what I'm going to do with it, but it's pink yarn. I had to keep it. I showed you earlier in my whips the start of a striped sock, and this is the DK weight set that I kept in Pretty in Pink. I also have some 50 grams that I could not part with. This is Pink and Precious, and this is Speckled Pink. And the sock, the Valentine sock that I'm working on, is in DK weight, and it's these 2 colorways. So I kept a DK weight set and a sock weight set. I think I have a problem. Last ones, I think, are the Pretty in Purple and Pretty in Pink mini sets on sock weight. I knew I would regret it if I didn't keep a set. So here is the Pretty in Pink on sock weight and the Pretty in Purple on sock weight. Oh wait, there's more. I don't really know how these came about because I dyed the majority of these on 50 gram minis, and I must have just had some random 20 gram minis in there. So these are 20 gram minis in the Love and Speckles. And I really just didn't know what to do with them, so I kept them. I know that's a pitiful excuse, but I was like, do I make a set of 6? I don't know. It was just a really good reason to keep them. I'm like, I don't know what to do with you. You're mine. And then I kept Love and Speckles 50 gram on DK weight. I'm really shocked that I didn't keep one on sock weight. Should I? Maybe I didn't because I have 40 grams right here. But do I need the 50? I don't need the 50, do I? No. I've got to talk. Y'all need to talk me off the ledge here. Like, I'm too much. All right. So part of the reason I kept so much yarn is because I have this idea for another Find Your Fade shawl. I'm just going to get this out and then we'll go to the rest of the yarn news. Okay. My idea is, and again, I keep going back and forth, like I'm on my own nerves at this point. My original idea was to start with, the lighting in here is playing tricks with my brain, to start with the light pink and go to darker, okay? And let me get my Find Your Fade shawl. I made a few whoopsies in this pattern, so the next one's probably gonna look a little different, but here's my idea. Start with the light pink, and this is my hiccup. I think I'm going to just use the light pink until I get right here, and then fade in the next pink. But my idea after that is to use some type of variegated or speckled for the lace sections. I've got to kind of plan it out in my head better, but they're 50 grams. And I know once you get to like, I think it's 233 stitches, after that point, you don't increase or decrease. I know at that point, it uses about 20 grams. But I don't really know how much it uses before I get to that point. I'm just gonna, in my brain, average 20 grams. So I thought what I could do is kind of shuffle between the pinks. So for the first lace section, use this pink and then set aside what's left. And then this section right here actually should be like about as big as that section. That was one of my whoopsie areas. And then go back to the tonals for the garter stitch section and then switch to this variegated for the next lace section and then switch again. I'm thinking, I need to look at the pattern, but there's an extra lace section here. Like this section right here shouldn't be lace, but it was because of the whoopsies earlier. So I think this is going to work out, okay? Just go with me. We're going to go light pink. This first section, this first lace section, I think I'm just going to leave it alone. We're just going to rock on with whatever color I'm using. And we'll start the changing it up at this lace section. So, this color, then the next lace section, this color, then the next this color, and the next this color. And then I think there's going to be one more kind of in the middle, and I will use this color because after that, I want to change to the purples. I don't know what I'm going to do from here. What was I going to do? Oh, I need a different purples. Then from there, on the other side, I actually think I need to steal more yarn out of the shop. On the other side, then I have some colorways with pink and purple in them. Follow the same pattern on the other side. Do the tonals for the garter stitch section and then the variegated, heavily leaning purple variegateds for the lace section. I think it's going to be so gorgeous. I just need to get organized and I need to pick out the yarn. And what do you think? So originally I was thinking go light to dark, light pink to dark pink, dark purple to light purple. But I actually like dark pink more than I like the light pink. So I think I might reverse that because this is where my brain's at. When I wrap up in the shawl, the ones that I start with and the ones that I end with are what I'm going to be able to see. So I think that's what I'm going to do is start with dark pink, go to light pink, then light purple to dark purple. I think that's going to be gorgeous. Now I just need to write that down. Okay, that is part of the reason why I selfishly kept so much yarn. The bad thing is that I kept a lot of pinks and I didn't really keep a lot of purples. I might be able to pull it off with all pinks. Let me know what you think about that. Would you do light to dark, dark to light, or dark to light, light to dark? I hope I didn't just say the same thing, but you know what I'm trying to say. Let me know what your ideas are. I feel like what I really need to do is take all the yarn that I want to use for the Find Your Fade and set it to the side and figure up the yardage to make sure I have enough. I know that I could probably just go dye more yarn if I need it, but I know myself enough that when I'm excited about a project, like I need to go with it and I don't need any reason to get distracted or who knows what might happen. Now that I got the whole Find Your Fade shawl idea out of my system, as promised, I'm picking back up in yarn news. These are the yarns that you will find in my shop right now. I'm just going to continue with the Valentine yarn because it's what's right here, and we'll probably dabble in some of the one of the kinds as we go because literally I have yarn piled up to like right here. It's just off camera. These are some sets that I put together. Try really hard not to call them sock sets because that's where my brain goes, but there are other things that you can make with it. Sock weight, you have Pink and Precious, Speckled Pink. I want to say Tickled Pink, but I have another pink that is called Tickled Pink. So that's where Speckled Pink came from. And then Raspberry Delight. I think this is a gorgeous set. And immediately my brain goes to like some type of, maybe like a bandana cowl. That would be really pretty. Or I don't know. I think anything would be gorgeous. Socks. You could probably get 2 sets of socks out of this. I don't know. I make shorty socks most of the time when I use sock weight. So I think the ones I make for myself are just at 50 grams. So you've got 2 50 grams and a 20 gram here. So you could probably get 2 sets of socks out of this. Or I know you could if you had a few more minis. DK weight, I've got Speckled Pink and then 2 pink tonals. And this is a 50 gram and these are 2 20 grams. I also have some of the Cushy Aran yarn that I think I've talked about a couple of times. I think this is the first time I've actually had some of this left over in the shop after the Yarn Club members had their chance to claim it. This colorway is Belong Together. And I just love this colorway. And I have it on all of my other bases. And I just think it's so neat how it looks different from base to base, like slightly different from base to base. So this is Belong Together. And this is the Cushy Aran weight base that is 90% superwash merino wool and 10% linen. It is so squishy, feels amazing, and it's just gorgeous worked up. And I love that heathered look that you get because of the linen in there. I had my yarn wall like all organized. I had like a DK weight, sock weight cubbies, worsted weight cubbies, and I have a feeling it is not going to be that way once I get done here. I just have one of these, and this is that Cushy Aran weight base. And this is, what is it? I'm trying to read it backwards here. Sweet Candy Pink. Just a real pretty tonal here. Love it. The yardage on this is 196 yards per 100 gram skein. There is Precious and Pink on that same base. The camera just doesn't do this justice. It almost looks like the same color. I think maybe you can see it a little. Yeah, but there are 4 different shades of pink. I really want to see this worked up because I think it's going to be so gorgeous. One actually might show it a little bit better. It was twisted up differently. So this is the Precious and Pink, and you can kind of see the different shades with this one. I'm trying to have some type of system to my madness over here. So I'm trying to pull out all of this base and then go to the others. This colorway is called Playful. I was just kind of playing around with colors. It is only available on this base. I just made one batch and I was done. I think it's gorgeous. I honestly think I just ran out of time and I just couldn't dye it on other bases. And there are just a few of these left. This one is Playful. I think that is it for that base, but I'm not making any promises because I've barely put in a dent here. I did not realize that there was one of these left in the yarn shop until I started pulling yarn to show you. So I might regret this, but this is one of my all-time favorite yarn bases. This is the single ply bulky yarn. I call it Cloud Bulky or Bulky Cloud, one of those. It just feels so amazing. It's so squishy and so soft, and I really want to knit a hat with this base, but I always feel guilty because I very rarely have this base in stock, so I want to give everybody a chance at it before I selfishly keep it. And I already have a ton of projects I need to work on, but how pretty is this? And it just feels amazing. So if you're new to this base, it is single ply, like it is just one strand of yarn, and I can't explain the squishy softness. It's amazing, and it is 109 yards per skein. So there's just one of these left for now. I haven't claimed it yet. I think I also had this one on this colorway, and I have a feeling that if this was this colorway, you would not be seeing it right now. I'd be like, oh, that's mine. There's probably going to be some yarn that's going to fall in a minute, but we're just going to go with it. Okay. Now I'm just going to dive in. There's probably going to be no system here. This is the Love and Speckles colorway that I'm sure you know by now. I'm very obsessed with. This is on my worsted weight base, and it's just so gorgeous. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, or if I'm like having flashbacks to the last podcast that I did or like one of the Facebook lives, but I wanted to dye some colorways that you could use together in a project if you wanted to, or you could just use them separate. This is one of the other colorways that I have in the shop, and I just think this would make a stunning set. This colorway is called Meant to Be. I always have to look at the name because I have Meant to Be and I have Belong Together, and I want to like mix them up. So this is Meant to Be, just a bunch of really pretty shades of purple and pink. And my lighting is just not wanting to play nice today. Both of these are on my worsted weight base, and again, I think they would be so pretty in a project together. Here is one of the one-of-a-kind yarns, and this one I have called Mermaid Vibes-ish. I have a colorway that is called Mermaid Vibes, and this is really similar. When it come down to naming it, my brain just would not get off of Mermaid Vibes, but I didn't want to confuse anybody thinking this was the original Mermaid Vibes, so I just added ish to the end, and that's what we're going with. Sometimes I think like all of my creativeness goes into creating the colorways, and then after that, I'm just like, I have no idea. No idea what I'm going to name it. Sometimes I have no idea what I'm going to make with it, but here you go. I feel like that's what my brain does. It's just like, here you go. I've got nothing else. Another Mermaid Vibes-ish on DK weight. I believe there are only one of these left on DK weight, and I think 2 left on sock weight. Another one-of-a-kind colorway. I very rarely dye greens, but I'm obsessed with this. I love all of the different shades of green in here. And this is called Lucky Day. Sorry, I saw these together and I'm like, would these go together? I don't know. Huh. Okay. just a peek inside my brain there. More one-of-a-kinds because they're at the top of the pile. This is Skip a Beat. So like I said earlier, I was just on the struggle bus when it come to naming these colorways. So I made a post in my yarn club and I'm like, please help me come up with some names. And sometimes just reading other people's ideas, it's like it just gets my brain going again. Even if I don't use their name, sometimes like I'll put a spin on it. Sometimes I'll like put a spin on it and I'm able to come up with names. I don't know why I needed to say that. Okay. So this colorway is called Skip a Beat. This was one of the suggestions in my yarn club. And I just think it's so pretty. It just kind of makes your heart skip a beat there. I feel like this can be a Valentine's colorway, like with the reds and the pinks and the purples. And that is wanting to show blue, but I really think it's purple. I've got 2 shades of purple that I love to use that play tricks with my brain. 1 minute they're purple and 1 minute they're blue. But if it's blue or if it's purple, I think all of this goes really well together and it's just so pretty. So this is Skip a Beat. I believe it is only on sock weight. This one is another one of my yarn club members' name suggestions and it was so perfect. It's called Blue Over You. Look at all of those shades of blue. I am just, oh, I really want to see this one worked up. And this is sock weight. I have it on, what is this, DK weight. I love that just random pop of red. You can see some more in there. So pretty. And then what is this one? This one's very similar, but I think I separated because, yeah, this one's really similar, but I decided to give it another name. I don't know why. I guess I just wanted to make my life really difficult, but to me, it just didn't look close enough to this to give it the same name because I don't really see a lot of speckles in this one, and there's more speckles in this one. So in case you wanted to know, that is why this one has a different name. And this one is called See the Love, like C-S-E-A, like ocean sea. See the Love. And this is DK weight. I can't remember if there's any of this left on worsted or not. So those are some of the one-of-a-kinds that are in the shop. You know what? I might as well just go ahead and show you these two. This is Rebel Heart. I love blues, aquas, teals, pinks, and purples together. And I just think this is so pretty with some pops of red in there. I think it's more of a reddish pink though. So pretty. And that was on sock weight and this is on DK weight. Oh my goodness, look at all that. Now let me show you this set that I'm trying really hard not to keep. Because I already kept one of these. This is Love and Speckles. And this is meant to be. So far, right? All right, I wanted to make sure I wasn't telling a fib. So far, I have resisted keeping one of these. But I kind of think this would be perfect for my Find Your Fade shawl. But I think this is the last sock weight one in the shop. So that's probably why I haven't claimed it yet. Okay, let me get back on track here. All right, Love and Speckles, meant to be. I think these are gorgeous together. Are you ready for this? Swoon-worthy. Oh my goodness, look how gorgeous that is. I actually think this one needs to be in the middle. Let's see if I can get this. Wow. I actually don't think it needs to be in the middle, but we're going to go with it. I think this is a gorgeous set. Last night, I got a message on Instagram from one of my yarn club members, and she asked me, she's like, do you think Swoon-worthy would go with those other two? And I immediately, in my brain, I was like, yes, 100% yes. But then I'm like, okay, I'm okay with taking that gamble for me, but I wouldn't want somebody to purchase yarn and then they get it and they're like, actually, I don't think I would put this together. So I'm like, let me go get a picture. So I made my husband pause the TV. I was like, hey, pause that. He's like, what? I was like, I wasn't about to tell him that I had to go take pictures of yarn. But anyways, so I come in here real quick and grabbed them and turned my lights on and took a picture. Sorry, I had an earbud emergency. And took a picture, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, I need this in my life. So would you put these together? And if you would, what would you make with them? My brain just won't shut off sometimes. Okay, I think that's better. I feel like the speckles needs to be together, but then my brain's like, wait, I think you need something to break up the speckles. Okay. Yeah, another peek inside my brain. It's a wild ride, y'all. Okay, what would you make with this? I'm trying not to say shawl because I'm on a shawl kick, but I don't need another shawl right now or another shawl project. A juniper cowl. Oh, that would be so pretty. I don't know, but I think it's gorgeous. Okay, let me move on. Here's another one of a kind on sock weight, and I named this one Bubblegum because that's all I had. That is all I had. I'm like, it makes me think of bubblegum that I chewed when I was a kid. So this is bubblegum and socks. I think this needs to be socks. I love this. I really wish I knew what color I speckled with. I love those dark, like raspberry. That's the only name that's coming to my brain. Like raspberry looking speckles there. So pretty. Almost done, y'all. I have a few more one-of-a-kinds, and they're wine-colored. In my opinion, they're wine-colored yarns, and I very rarely have reds or burgundy or anything like that in the shop. So I wanted to be sure to show you these. This is looking like that color that shall not be named. Brown. It's looking brown. Okay. No, okay. Fixed it. Okay, this colorway is Wine Time. I kept thinking like it's that time where you just pour a glass of wine and put your feet up and crochet or knit. So that's just where my brain was at. And this is on DK. Then this one is called, wait for it, Wine Down. Told you, I was like thinking about all the wine, and I love this one. I think it's just so pretty with all the different tones. And this one is also on DK weight. And then I have that same, nope, I lied. This looks really close. For some reason, I just changed the name. So this one is called Heart Eyes, and this is on worsted weight. I think the difference between the colors is DK versus worsted. Worsted is 100% superwash merino wool, and this one is 85% superwash merino wool and 15% nylon. So there can be some differences in the shade. I think my brain was just tired, and I'm just like, I need a new name, and that's how we got this name. So this one is Heart Eyes, and it is on worsted weight. And I love the different shades of that wine color. You've got a little bit of a darker color there. I just think it's so pretty. I'm sure there are some more colorways in the shop that I'm just not getting to, but I really wanted to make sure I showed you some of the one-of-the-kinds, some of the colorways that I personally would pair together. I didn't make a lot of sets, even though in my brain, when I was dyeing the yarn, that was my plan. I think part of the reason I didn't put sets together is because I just wanted you to be able to pick what you wanted. And I always overthink that part. And so I think that's part of the reason why I did not put sets together. But if you're ever looking in the yarn shop and you're like, I wonder if these would go together, I am more than happy to come in here and take pictures or, you know, help you pair yarns or anything like that. Just shoot me an email. I'm more active on Instagram because Instagram is easier. than Facebook. So much of like the Facebook notifications just get lost and I never see them. So feel free to email me or reach out on Instagram or Facebook and I'll be happy to help you. This is the colorway I already showed you, Meant to Be, and this is on DK. Oh, so pretty. And Belong Together on DK. I just kind of wanted to show you these on different bases. I think these would be really pretty together. This color right here, this purple color, is in all three of these colors. The pinks I changed up a little bit, but that one of these purples, there's like 3 or 4 different purples in this one, and I think 2 in this one, and only 1 purple in this one besides the speckles. Anyways, and it's that one purple is like consistent with all 3 of them. That was really hard for me to get out. I don't know why. Okay, so these are Love and Speckles, Meant to Be, Belong Together on DK Weight. Then I wanted to show you, I'm like really surprised this colorway is still in the shop because it's so pretty. I think part of the reason is that pictures just don't do it justice. And the other part of the reason, it is a really bright color. And I think some people just don't know what to do with bright colors. I think I would pair these together. This color, see the pops right there, the speckles? It really matches really well. And I think this would be a great way to break up some of this brightness. I wanted to make sure that I showed this set off because I would totally put this together. And I know I have 1, if not 2 on DK weight and 1 worsted weight. All right, that is some of the squishy goodness that you will find in the yarn shop. I probably should have called this section shop news instead of yarn news, but normally all I have in my shop is yarn. But I have slowly added some notions to the shop. It's some of like my favorite notions. Majority of them have been in previous Yarn Club boxes and I've had such great feedback. And then I've had people that are not Yarn Club members say, oh my goodness, can I buy them? And I'm like, I don't really have any more. I decided to buy some of those and add them in the shop, kind of a little trial run here to see how well that goes. And I decided to expand that just a little bit and add some stitch markers. I was able to find some super cute stitch markers wholesale. This could be a problem because I love stitch markers. I don't really know how I'm going to package them. I didn't really think that far ahead. I just bought some. So I'm using some of my old business cards right now to put them on. If this ends up becoming a thing, I'll probably do something a little different, but I'm just going to show you how I have them packaged right now. But I have these really cute heart stitch markers in the shop right now, and I think there's 5 or 6 different colors. I can't remember. There's this really pretty blue color. I'm actually shocked to see this pink because this was the most popular one. Just kidding. This was the most popular one with my yarn club. It's really pretty pink. This is probably the only pink one left. I actually thought I was sold out. And then this one's really hard. If you like scroll through the pictures on the listing, you're going to see some pictures of like more than 1 stitch marker. Oh, it's actually going to behave. This is like a mint color. I had a really hard time getting this mint color to show up in pictures and to be able to tell the difference between white and mint. And look, it's plain nice. There's just a couple of shades difference between the white and the mint. And I don't know. I like them both. I think they're both pretty. So that's another color option. Oh, and there's this really pretty spring green. And I think this is the last one, yellow, like a sunshine yellow, I think is what I'm calling this one. I'm not going to go through all of the stitch markers that are in the shop because I've already talked a ton, but I wanted to show you some of my favorite ones that are in there. And one of the reasons why, I can't help myself, I just have to explain. One of the reasons why I really love this style of stitch markers is because to me, it fits almost flush with your work. So I'm not getting it caught on anything as I'm crocheting or knitting. Another reason I like it is if I want to use it on my knitting needles, I can just slip it from needle to needle and I don't have to worry about it like coming undone. So I really like that this style, in my opinion, you can use for crocheting and knitting, because a lot of the times I have stitch markers that I use for knitting and I have stitch markers that I use for crocheting, and I think this is just wonderful because I can use it in either one. Really quickly, I'm going to show you some of the other notions that you can find in the shop. These are my favorite scissors. They're just so itty bitty and cute. But this is the reason why I love them so much, is the cover. It just pops, well, it just pops off like that. So I can use them and then I can immediately, okay, let me do this a little bit more gracefully. All right, we'll just pretend I'm starting over. So you can pop the cover off like that, okay? And then when I'm done using them, I can pop the cover right back on. This is great when you have a nosy little puppy in your lap and you don't want him to get stabbed with your scissors on accident. So I literally have a pair of these little scissors in every single project bag, and they're also airplane safe. I've taken these on the airplane, and one of my yarn club members really liked her pair, and I think she added some type of like little it's not a key ring, but something like that on here, and she could just kind of like attach it to her project bag like that. And I think that is a really good idea. I could go on and on about these, but they're my favorite little scissors, and you can now find these in the notions section of my yarn shop. If you've been around for a hot minute, you know I have an obsession with slap bracelets. I kind of lost my mind a little bit when Twice Sheared Sheep came out with their sock ruler slap bracelet, and they've since upgraded it to, it's a sock ruler slap bracelet on one side and then like a regular ruler on the other, and it's one of my favorite things. And I knew I wanted to have something like that in my yarn club. So when I found these, I was super excited. They're just little 6-inch rulers, and it may not fit around everybody's wrist. I think it barely fits around mine. Like, it barely fits around mine. So even if you don't want to like wear it on your wrist, this is great to put around like the handle of your project bag. I have like another little ring on the inside of my project bag, so this is great to just roll up on the side of your project bag. And that way you always have some type of ruler with you. I have way too many of these to count, and there are so many colors to choose from. We've got all the pretty colors. So these are in the yarn shop, and I'm not going to bore you with all of these, but I also have some super pretty scissors. I like things that are functional but also pretty, so I couldn't resist when I found these, adding these to the shop. And there's several different colors in there, and they all come with a cover. I really, really like that because the majority of my scissors don't have a cover, so they usually can't just go in a project bag, and I really just like having a cover. So there are several to choose from in there. I'll post links to my shop below, but I wanted to just make sure I told you all the new things. I'm trying to rein myself in and not get too crazy with putting extras in the yarn shop, but I really wanted to put ones in there that I personally use, that I enjoy, and just to have a little extra something in there. Sometimes you don't know you need something until you see it, so I just wanted to have that extra little perk in the shop. That is a wrap for this podcast episode. Decided I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up before I get to chatting about something else. So thank you for hanging out with me. I hope that you will take some time to work on something that brings you joy. And until next time, happy yarning. Bye for now.